Hi guys, sorry it's been a while since I've been able to make a video. I've been a little busy with things and hope you're all doing well. I just wanted to talk to you today because I saw a talk by Dr. Gabriel Cousens, a good friend of ours, one of the most conscious MDs that I've ever met. And he was on a panel for that series, The Real Truth About Health, that you really ought to get on their mailing list because it has a lot of good material that's coming out on video that you get in your inbox, and it's all free. It's very valuable stuff. Anyway, he was on one of the panels that I just saw this morning. I'm recording this on Tuesday, and he's talking about cholesterol, optimum cholesterol levels, and a little bit about diabetes, and which is his main work and things like that. But he prefaced it with an important notice talking about what's going on with 5G, and he mentioned the 20,000 satellites that are being shot up into space with Elon Musk's company and others that are going to give us wonderful equal access to the most horrible radiation. Well, maybe not the most horrible, but it's pretty bad radiation designed to hurt you, masquerading as convenience and wonderful equal access to Wi-Fi and all this stuff, and whereas fiber optic is way better in every sense. It's safe, it's already installed in a lot of places. There's no good reason to put these satellites up other than as a weapon system similar to the 5G that's being rolled out for the same reason, pretending to be an advance in beneficial technology, which it's absolutely not. And if you're unclear on it, you ought to look at the Lost Arts Radio archives, especially a couple of recent ones with Mark Steele, who's a microwave weapons expert, and Barry Trower, who did a whole series before that. You can find them on YouTube at the moment. They're still up there. And we're putting everything on Brighteon.com now too, which is a site that won't censor. It's Brighteon, BRIGHTEON.com/channel/Lost Arts Radio, and there's already a lot of our material is up there. It needs to be used on Brighteon.com because just by using that site for free, you support Mike's great efforts to put up a much better alternative to the big platforms. Anyway, I was listening to Dr. Gabriel Cousens mention about how important the 5G issue is, that threatens not just human life on this planet, but all life. I mean, it even hurts trees and plants and insects and microbes and everything. And it's not like the people promoting it and rolling it out don't know that. Maybe the low-level servants who are just there for a paycheck haven't checked that out, but I'm sure most of the upper levels do know it, and it's not about money except to motivate some of the corporate players that are helping them. But at the top levels, it's not about money at all. It's much worse. So it's a big issue, and it's not the only one. You know, we still have the stuff going on with the GMOs and the chemical agriculture in general, which contrary to much popular opinion, chemical fertilizers are a total disaster. They're not to feed the world, they're to poison the soil and destroy the delicate ecosystem of life there, that microbes and mycorrhizal fungi and different things that healthy plants depend on, as well as the people and animals that eat them. And the chemical fertilizers lead to such an imbalance that it appears there's a need for pesticides and maybe even things like GMOs, but it's not a real need. It's a symptom of a much deeper imbalance and poisoning. So, you know, these things and the drug medicine, which is great in some emergency situations and traumatic medicine and emergency stuff like that, but as far as health and disease, current dark age medicine is a total disaster, and it's killing millions of people all over the world and getting people addicted to multiple medical drugs that are called medicine, but just they're really, as Dr. Remo Labo, another conscious MD, has talked about, are just poisons. They're poison. You can call them great medicine, you can call them elixir of life, they're still chemical poison. And you got the public so trusting of these corrupt authorities and miseducated authorities that they eat this stuff, and they let them, when the chemicals do too much damage, they let them cut their organs out, and this is really going to fix you up great, you know, and they're just slaves in the medical industry for life until it finally kills them very profitably, and end of life care with massive drugging as well. So we've got a few things that need improving, but I think Dr. Cousens was correct that the 5G is an immediate threat to all life. There's no doubt about that. And he's got information about it on his website for Tree of Life. Anyway, he's very involved in trying to do something to stop the rollout of 5G, which I think is great. And I just wanted to mention to him and all of you that the 5G, besides being a threat to all healthy existence and probably to all life on the planet, which the top promoters of it absolutely are aware of. We'll leave that story for another video, or a lot of videos. It's a big issue. But besides being a threat, it's also a hint of a solution. And some people have said that the solution to a problem is a seed in the problem if you can see it and find it and understand it. And in the case of 5G, frequency is the hint, because frequency is not just negative, it's not just destructive, it's not, you know, the fact that they designed these smartphones to work on a frequency very harmful and cancer causing and hormone disrupting and everything for humans, that wasn't a mistake, okay? The lower level people just do it because it's their job, but the designers know about it. But frequency is not just negative. It's just everything has a frequency emanating from it all through nature and everywhere. It's part of the solid universe that we don't happen to have senses tuned in to see. Excuse me, our vision is tied to a very small part of the band of electromagnetic radiation that we call visible light, and the frequency and EMF coming out of every being is not perceptible in that range, but it's still there. And the reason I bring that up is that because I've been doing one of the reasons I haven't had a chance to do videos in the last month or so is I've been really looking into and digging deeply into the potential for remedial or positive or life-giving, human-friendly, life-friendly radiation. See, radiation's not bad just because it's radiation. You might have noted people talk about the sun having radiation. Now they try to scare you about that, saying that it's terrible for you, and I think one of the big health agencies recently said there's no safe level of sun radiation. Excuse me? I mean, this kind of insanity we actually listen to and believe because we're so educated, I guess. And the thing is, well, if there's no safe level of sunlight, then the world should be dark, right? No light at all. And we'd all be in really good shape, except there'd be no life on the planet at all. And with the geoengineering cutting down the light coming from the sun that reaches the earth by about 22 to 24%, that's another really intense threat to life on Earth, right? You actually need light, you need sunlight, and how to use that safely and the amounts to build up to and things like that is also another very important subject. And we're getting the wrong information on it, like just about everything else. But a lot of radiation, a lot of frequency is very subtle. It's not like X-rays that just blast through things, which people think is a wonderful invention, and it's useful, but it's really dangerous, and it causes a lot of death and injury as a therapy, by the way. But some radiation, some frequency is very subtle, and that includes the frequency that your cells in your body use to communicate. There's 50 or 100 trillion of those, and they're all talking to each other all the time, and they're trying to talk to you if you'd listen. That's another pretty interesting issue, that we're so oblivious to these things that it's just staggering that we're still alive at all on this planet anyway. But what I'm saying is that subtle frequency between your cells also emanates from your body as a whole. And it's affected by thought patterns, emotion, focus, intention, things like that. It's somewhat suggested by Kirlian photography that shows colors changing as people get in different moods and different health status and things like that, but that only shows a little bit of it. This is a potentially very powerful frequency that you're generating. So while cell towers that the telecom companies put in are extremely harmful, and they hurt you and they hurt all life, and the frequency coming out of your cell phone, which, by the way, never hold it on your head or any part of your body if it's turned on. Just a safety tip, as Egon would say in Ghostbusters. But in spite of the fact that those are harmful, there's a radiation coming out of you as a living creature that is responsive to your intention and your thoughts and your emotions and your state of health and all these things that we just are usually oblivious of, but they're very, very important. This is another reason that I like to emphasize physical health repair as an aid to regaining consciousness, self-awareness. If you get real self-awareness back, you get awareness of everything else as a little side benefit to that. So if a small number of us humans get back enough self-awareness to make the energy coming out of us coherent, and I know this is sounding hard to follow maybe for a lot of people, but it's really important because I'm interested in solutions, and the rulers of the earth right now are working on the final stages of a systematic extinction of life here. And I'm sorry, I have to talk as straightforward as I can, hopefully without getting banned. But that's what's happening. Their minions and their servants all through the system are not told this. They're told, don't worry, it's just population reduction, so the earth will be healthier. And don't worry, you'll be in the remnant that's still here. You'll be getting all the leftover space and resources that all these people were going to eliminate will leave behind. That's not true, you guys. If you're falling for that and you're working in the power structure and you think you're really high up and privy to all the real information, you're not. You're targeted for elimination as well. And so are the people who are perpetrating this. It's a suicide mission because what they're after is to merge into a kind of cyberspace where they won't be needing their physical bodies anymore. So they're planning to throw themselves on the sacrificial ceremony at the end. And it's not really a very good plan. It's not going to turn out like they want, but it's really making a mess here, and it's threatening to eliminate life on the planet, while everybody else thinks they're so brilliantly educated and saying, oh yes, in my specialty, this is what we understand. Of course, we know nothing about the context, so we need a team of experts to even tell us how to use our knowledge. But altogether, we're controlled by these all benevolent, selfless technocrats that are going to make everything efficient and wonderful. There's a lot wrong with that picture. That's not how it's going to turn out. And arrogance is helping to keep us blind to it. Getting rid of arrogance completely, no matter what side of the spectrum of any issue you're on, is a really good idea, because there is vast knowledge available experientially, but it's not something anybody can claim as their own. It's been here before anything physical was ever, created, and it's still here now. If we can get back in touch with that and make the energy that we're radiating coherent to the point where it's strong enough to overcome the anti-life frequencies. This is not science fiction. I'm talking about something real. And maybe there's a few people that understand that I'm not just talking about silly theories here. This is something you can actually do. And I'm interested in us doing it, because otherwise I see where this is going. And there's a lot of people working on wonderful issues. But if the anti-life frequency, like from the cell towers and the satellites and many other things that are not discussed, are allowed to proliferate to their goal, I don't think there's going to be anything living here that we would recognize as life anymore. And that's not the goal I'd like to see happen. And I think you're the solution. That's why I'm taking the time to come out here and talk to you about it. Because you're not the helpless, little, limited, temporary, unintelligent being that you're supposed to think you are, dependent on teams of experts and benevolent government agencies and these wonderful industries to tell you how to live your life with cutting-edge science and all that. That's an inaccurate picture. You're walking around holding the key to the whole thing, not just yourself, but as a reflection of doing it for yourself to affect everybody else by something called resonance that Tesla was working on with respect to electric power. But there's a much more subtle aspect to it that means that if your consciousness is playing a clear tone, all the chaotic consciousness around you will start to change in what's called resonance. And things on this planet can completely change, including the people who are perpetrating it. I would have said bad guys in the past, but now it's women just as much at the highest levels, showing their equality, being as terrible as men. And even they, underneath all their mountains of programming, are reachable by what I'm talking about. They're mostly not reachable. If you just try to talk to them, they'll probably try to kill you or do something unpleasant other than that. But if you pursue what I'm alluding to here without being too specific, they can start having spontaneous thoughts and emotions and curiosity that they never imagined. And I can just picture them thinking, what's wrong with me? I might be becoming good. That would be terrible. But they are good underneath. They're the same as we are, and they're the same as everybody is. It's just the programs that make the bad guys appear bad as very deep programs that you have to respect, because they do intend to destroy things and they have the technology to do it. Fortunately, it's a religious ceremony for them, so it's not overnight, and that's what buys us some time to work on it. But the whole issue boils down to you, not somebody else that you can blame or some circumstance that's just by bad luck or chance, which doesn't exist, nothing like that. It's literally personally you. And unbeknownst to us, we're carrying around very subtle keys to a frequency that is much stronger than anything that they can possibly build in a cell tower or a Doppler radar station or anything else. What you're carrying is infinitely beyond that. And it's something that can't be stopped if it gets coherent and activated. So I'm suggesting that we do that. And Dr. Cousens, thanks for your incredible inspiration on all of these things and your concern about 5G. I think you're absolutely right. It is not just 5G, but all the other wireless radiation that's being proliferated is a threat to the entire ecosystem and the whole biosphere. But we are walking around as the solution embodied on a very deep level. So I'm suggesting we get into that and spend our time from now on developing it. We're going to talk about some specifics of how to do that in Planetary Healing Club that you can access through planetaryhealingclub.com, and be happy to see you there. It's live every week and interactive. I'm there every Saturday, and you'll see we're going to make this real if you're willing to do that. Otherwise, I'll put as much as I can on these regular public videos, and I'm going to be doing that when time allows. Planetary Healing Club, yes, does have small dues to it, and they all go to our nonprofit that is interested in changing the future of the world. So it's supporting that. If you want, we also have a new channel on Subscribestar if you'd like to help us, because we're not even taking in money to survive right now, let alone the projects that we need to fund. And so if you want to help us, subscribestar.com/Lost Arts Radio, and that would be very, very helpful to us. There's things that you get for different levels of subscription if you want to look into it. Subscribestar.com/LostArtsRadio. Any feedback you want to give us, we're always open to communication. We'll read all of it. Richard@LostArtsRadio.com. Keep up with the Sunday shows. We've got great guests with us every week on those. It's fun and exciting for me too, because I learned so much from them. And Gabriel Cousens, Dr. Cousens, has been one of those many times. He was on once a month for a whole year, giving a talk on different important aspects of health and lifestyle and things like that. It's all free archives on most of the major platforms, are audio and Blog Talk Radio. And keep in touch with our new channel on brighteon.com/channel/LostArtsRadio, because Mike's put that together so they're not going to censor in case we disappear from everywhere else. And speaking of disappearing, go to lostartsradio.com and get on our mailing list, because that's something that we'll have to send you this kind of information if we get cut off and we can't use any of the other platforms. lostartsradio.com. There's a mailing list now. We're not using it at the moment, but if it becomes the only way we can reach you, we'll send you embedded videos or whatever we can that way. What else did I forget to mention? Gabriel's site, remember to look at, and start thinking about what your real potential is. Get your physical health back. Learn the laws of nature that will give you your health, and you won't have to worry about most of aging anymore, degenerative disease, things like that are totally abnormal. And even if you're into that already, it can be reversed. I can tell you that from definite experience. And if you want to get deeper into it, planetaryhealingclub.com. Really appreciate all of you. Thanks for lending us a little bit of your time to watch videos and watch the shows with us on Saturday and Sunday. And I look forward to seeing you next time. See you then.